Salakia. Shalom, Makim. First and foremost, before I begin this lesson, giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachah HaKodash. Double honors go out to our apostles, elders, Great Millstone, who roll and teach well. Shalom, Barakim to you, brothers and sisters out there, man. All right, which Shalom means peace, Barakim is blessings. This is the brother Malachi from the Great Millstone Nashville branch coming back at you with another lesson, Lord willing, is edifying. All right. This lesson, it should be very brief. I just kind of wanted to touch in on the topic of basically focus on yourself. Okay? And when I say that, I don't mean neglect brothers. I don't mean F what brothers got going on. It's all about me. I'm never going to sacrifice. I'm never going to be charitable. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. It's all about me. No, because that's being self-centered. It's being arrogant, selfish, prideful, right? Help brothers out. Fellowship. Be amongst the brotherhood. Make sure brothers good. Help brothers out. Sacrifice daily, in everything. You really, if you're really in this truth, you'll sacrifice every single day. Okay, whether you're sacrificing time, money, energy, whatever, you're sacrificing something every day for Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. It may not seem significant or big to you, but the Lord notices it. All right. You took time out of your day to make a lesson, to read, to fellowship with brothers. You could have thrown on a movie. You could have played some Xbox. You could have did this, could have did that, but instead you said, you know what, I'm gonna do a lesson. You know what, I'm gonna go chill with the brothers. I'm gonna go ahead and get some Hebrew in. But in this truth, you need to focus on yourself. Okay? Make sure that you're doing what you need to be doing before you go to the next man and try to tell him anything. All right? I mean, that's really just basic knowledge. That's just common sense. But, common sense is, as common as it may be, sometimes we lack it. Speaking first and foremost about myself, there's times where I don't even, there's been times where I've focused too much on myself to where I'm just being a dickhead. And, because that's what I like to call it, because Apostle Har made that video, Learn How to Be an Asshole. So being an asshole, in season is good. But the term that I use for somebody that's arrogant or just, they're not being an asshole in a good sense or just being a fucking pain in the ass or being unnecessary. I call that a dickhead. All right. But, I've had moments where I've just been all about myself, self-centered, wasn't considerate of other brothers. And then I've had the opposite where I'm so focused on brothers and making sure, you're worrying about brothers or situations. You're basically trying to completely handle their problems for them, mentally trying to get it, and you're so tied up in things around you that you're not focusing on yourself. Okay. And even, being a good leader, not saying this like I am even in a leadership position of that sense or anything like that. It's just something I've come to learn through, different men, in fairly high ranking positions and, the scriptures and motivational videos and just, everything, really, because we filtered all through the Spirit. One major thing dealing with how to be a great leader or steps to become, an efficient leader is leading by example. Okay. And how you lead by example is critique yourself, right? Examine yourself. Make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing because men, and that's been harped on constantly. Well, not constantly. Let me not say that, but multiple times, it's been brought up, here at the Nashville camp, Great Millstone Nashville. We've talked about it, how, men, your words, they have meaning, but at the end of the day, Jake don't really care what you're saying. He wants to see what you're doing. Okay, because if you're saying, yeah, brother's got to be on fire, brother's got to do this, brother's got to do that, but then they look at you, page ain't got no works for real. You know, you're doing one video every 3 days, but you're telling brothers to do one every single day, and you got to do. You're putting, all this. It's motivation, but you're throwing these high goals out there for brothers, but you're not even making an attempt to complete them yourself. You're saying, "Oh, brothers got to sacrifice," but you're not making no sacrifice. A brother needs some help. He's 30 minutes away. You're the only one that's up, and you said, "Nah, I'm watching this show right now. I'm in the bed." But you want brothers to. You see what it's just hypocritical. All right, so the first major step I would say to being an efficient leader, because that's one of the things that I read in this little book that I had that I got from the library. There's effective leaders and there's ineffective leaders. All right, that's what it comes down to. Are you efficient or are you not? Are you doing your job or are you not? Right? Are you hot or are you cold? Right? And then even dealing with because you got people that are lukewarm. Well, realistically speaking, lukewarm isn't a thing. You see, it is, but it's not. Okay, because what lukewarm is the only difference between lukewarm and cold is you just haven't lost all the temperature that you had. But in moments, lukewarm is going to go from, especially now in the winter, right? You have food outside. It's going to go from lukewarm to cold in a matter of minutes, seconds. You see? So at the end of the day, you're really hot or cold. You're in or you're out. All right? It deals with absolutes. So let me go ahead and grab this James 1:8. I'm going to go ahead and roll out these scripts now. I had a lot of scriptures come to mind as I was saying these things, but I just want to kind of get that, not to say off my chest, because there ain't nothing going on, here or anything even in my mind. It was just a topic that it came to mind a few hours ago because I was meditating on that, how, I need to stop worrying so much about things around me and just make sure that I'm doing what the fuck I need to be doing. Working on myself, working on, my spiritual health, my mind, building, characteristics like Yahushai, striving to be perfect. I need to make sure that my body is healthy. I need to make sure, certain things like that. I definitely don't have the best diet or workout plan, but I'm trying to implement certain things that, will help me. Just self-improvement. Okay, that's kind of what the Spirit's been pushing within my mind lately, is just constant productivity of self, right? Basically. So this is James 1 in verse 8. It says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Okay, double-minded, meaning you say one thing, you do the other. All right? Can't be doing the truth, man. Right? There's an account with Yahushai. I'm going and it just furthermore proves that point. Matthew chapter 7, verse 3-5. And why behold, and this is in red letter, so we know that's Yahushai's words, which of course we know he spoke Hebrew, but it's translated to us in English, and Tawadi al-Bashmel sorry for that, because if it was still Hebrew, we wouldn't understand it. All right? Unless, of course, we had learned the Hebrew language, but it's a lot better this way with the predicament that we're in. Verse 3, it says, and why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? All right, so you're over here bashing a brother for the way he wipes his mouth with a napkin, but every time the Sabbath rolls around, you buying a video game, a pair of shoes, and going grocery shopping. It's kind of like you're not being mindful. What the brother's got going on, maybe he's a messy eater. Okay, it's something he needs to work on. It's not a sin. All right, but you're over here doing things that you really shouldn't be doing. You're not necessarily bugging or doing no crazy thing, but you're like, critique yourself. Especially sometimes we need to realize that, we'll say things to brothers, you're doing this, you're doing that. And a lot of times, if you really examine yourself, you're doing the same thing. It may not be it may not come out at the same volume, or, so in certain situations, you may be able to contain whatever it is or whatever, but, you getting on it, brother, you're so impatient, this and that. But when you're driving to work the next day, you're acting the same way. You see? So it just goes to show that we really got to work on ourselves first, man. You can't help other people if you can't even help yourself, you know? But it says, or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote, or Salaki, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, the beam is in thine own eye, thou hypocrite. First cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Right? So fix yourself, and then you can help others. Now, of course, we're never going to achieve perfection on this side. So it doesn't mean you never help brothers, because you're never going to be perfect. What it's saying is work on yourself, focus on yourself first, and then the rest will follow. Okay, that's what it means. If you're over here and you have anger issues, you shouldn't be critiquing a brother over something that is completely irrelevant. He likes playing video games after camp. So what? What does that have to, that, look, okay, yeah, it's not in season. He needs to, he should be around the brothers. Those video games can wait till later that night or Sunday, right? Of course. But, bro, you're over here with anger issues. Every time a situation arises, you become carnal minded. You're trying to fight. When you're off, you drink too much, and now you're fighting in the bar. So you fix yourself. Okay, work on yourself. Then you can look at somebody else. Okay, but don't look at somebody else either with disdain. Don't allow other brothers to put a bad taste in your mouth because they're doing things you don't agree with. Okay? If you see room for improvement when the time comes, let the brother know. But understand that we're all different. All right? And that's what makes it a body. We're not going to do the same things. We don't look the same. We don't function the same. We all do different things. And it's like that for a reason. So at the end of the day, if you're not willing to work with brothers and the particular spirit that they have and the way that they maneuver, as long as they're not going off and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and they're loving and caring and doing, then you're going to get casted out of the body. Okay? But nonetheless, let me go ahead and get this Philippians. Philippians 2:12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Right? So you have to work out your own salvation. Okay? Which, of course, we know we can't save ourselves. We know that. But you need to put in faith and effort. All right? Faith without works is dead. Works without faith is dead, right? You need one. You can't have one without the other. You need to have faith and works. 2 Ezra 9, right? That's how you're going to be preserved from the said perils and see the salvation in Yahweh B'Shem Shai's land. That's how you're going to see salvation in Yahweh's land, man. Work out your own salvation, okay? And that applies to everybody in the camp. It doesn't matter what rank you have. You need to be working out your own salvation first and foremost. Okay? And we have different duties and things that we have to handle, but especially if you're towards the top of the leadership in the camp, you really need to be working out your own salvation. because you're going to get caught up in things that other brothers are doing because you have all these different questions and things that's going on. And it's very easy to get, swayed away from what the goal is and what you're to be focused on, right? Which is constantly improving yourself. And especially you need to focus on yourself as, a head or an officer or captain, whatever the case may be, because there's a lot of brothers that are looking to you as an example. Okay? And brothers are going to think certain things are okay because you're doing it, but they're really not. That's why the image that you put out there, not only does it need to be sincere, it needs to be genuine, it needs to be unadulterated, pure, right? Don't put on a facade, don't put on an act, be yourself. But you gotta work on yourself to where the image that's being put out to the camp or put out to the nation even is presentable, right? You're not going to show up to a job interview and you're wearing shorts with a t-shirt. You got a pizza stain on your shirt. Shorts got a big rip in the leg. You got a black sock and a white sock. The sole of your shoes falling off. But you got all these clothes in your closet. You got suits and all that. You got button-ups. You got pants. You got good belts. But you go to an interview like that. That's not presentable, right? You got to go to the closet, put something together. It may not be perfect. It fits you. It's your style. You like the way it looks, but it's presentable. You got to be presentable before Yahweh Shema Shai, before the nation, before your subordinates, before your elders. Okay? So 2 Corinthians 13:5, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. You have guys out there that are doing the work, so-called. I say so-called because they're not sincerely doing it or they're not doing it in truth, right? But you have people out there that may be doing the work and claim to be brothers and claim to be this, claim to be that. But the scriptures say, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. There's people out there that aren't in the faith. And they would know that if they truly examine themselves, they would know that, okay, I'm doing the work and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Yeah, but the way I'm conducting myself, my actions, the way I'm treating other brothers, it's not of the Spirit. And I need to fix that. All right, because the doors of mercy are not only shutting for these people out here, they're shutting for us too, man. So we gotta be on our A game. Like the beloved elder Itazwan from Wisconsin says, you gotta what does he say? Cross your T's and dot your I's, something like that. Something along those lines. So you gotta be on your P's and Q's, man. It says, prove your own selves, know ye not your own selves, how that Yahweh Shai HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. All right, so Lord willing, that this lesson was edifying, and shalom.